Good evening. The Conejo Valley Unified, little bit of power to quiet the room. The Conejo Valley Unified School District Board of Education regular board meeting of January 14th, 2026 will please come to order. Pursuant to the Ralph M. Brown Act, this is a meeting of the Board of Education in public, and only items on the agenda will be discussed this evening. We invite you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The board is adjourning from closed session where the following items permitted by law was considered. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. No readout is provided for this agenda item. 1C, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, case OAH 202-506-0802. Trustee Goldberg made the motion to approve the settlement agreement for this case, seconded by Trustee Gill, and the motion carried 5-0. Item 1D, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, case OAH 202-508-1073. Trustee Gorbach made the motion to approve the settlement agreement for this case, seconded by Trustee Goldberg. Motion carried 5-0. Right. I would like to welcome everyone to this meeting and make the following announcements. The board values your input on the important education matters we face. Therefore, the district is providing multiple opportunities for public participation. Public viewing is available through internet live stream on the CVUSD website. Please note the different opportunities to provide public or written comments to the board can be found on the main page of the board agenda. Members of the public wishing to submit a written comment had the option to email their comments to sfelman@conejousd.org by 3 p.m. today. Board members were provided with all of those written comments prior to this meeting. Persons wishing to address the board in person should fill out a blue speaker's card and hand it to Mrs. Fellman at the secretary's desk. If you wish to speak on a specific agenda item, please turn in your card prior to that item section of the agenda. If the school district business you wish to speak about is not on tonight's agenda, please turn in your card before the public comments section of the agenda. If you intend to donate time to another speaker, please hand in both cards at the same time to Mrs. Fellman. If you wish to register your concern but not speak at the podium, please fill out a yellow public statement form and turn it in to Mrs. Fellman as well. Board members will be provided with these statements after the board meeting. Please be advised that a recording of this meeting is being made and broadcast for our live stream audience, and the recording and broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Smoking is not permitted in this building or anywhere on any district property. Copies of the agenda are available on the table in the board lobby, and please silence all mobile phones. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
President Sylvester.
Trustee Gill. Oh, sorry, Trustee Powell.
I move that we approve the agenda as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, please vote. Trustee Kearns?
Yes.
Trustee Powell?
Yes.
Trustee Gorbach?
Yes.
Trustee Gill?
Yes.
Trustee Goldberg?
Yes.
I am a yes. Motion carries 5-0 with a preferential yes vote from Trustee Kearns. All right, we are now at item 2E, which is always a highlight of the meeting. We are going to do some student recognitions in honor of some of our students. So first up, I believe, is Newbury Park High School, and our principal, Steve Lapierre, will be providing this information.
I'm gonna press play, record. Board President Sylvester, trustees, Dr. McLaughlin, district leadership. It's always, as I say, it's always a great night to recognize the outstanding achievements of all of our students in the Conejo Valley School District. And it's my pleasure to specifically recognize our Marmoni League girls flag football champions, Newbury Park High School. I believe this is, we just finished our third year of the program. The girls finished 18-8, 9-1 in league, and finished as CIF Division II semifinalists with a great run. So we're very proud of the girls and our coaching staff that we'll recognize. So at this time, it's my pleasure to recognize the following students. First, Zara Coffey. You're gonna walk up and go right there. Go shake him down. Kylie Zubek. Not here tonight, Josephine Fault. Madison Fishman Edmonds. Maya Garza. Molly Harris. Not here tonight is the Marmoni League MVP, and because she's playing a basketball game tonight, Greta Heath. Lily Johnson. Deneen Gerardo. Also not here tonight because she's playing in a varsity basketball game, London Leffler. Not here tonight, Jaden Lauder. Reagan Mancini. Juliet Martin. Catherine Oliver. Not attending tonight, Tegan Ratke. Not attending tonight, Desmaria Reyes. Lila Rugi. Devin Smith. Kenzie Spikerman. And Bella Unzin Simon. At this time, I'd like to thank our coaches for all of their hard work, the support of our parents and our booster club. And first, I want to recognize our assistant head coach, Mr. Greg Sakuma. And our Marmoni League Coach of the Year, Steve Wood.
All right. Dr. McLaughlin and members of the board, It's a delight to be back this evening in order to recognize and celebrate two more Thousand Oaks High School student groups. First up, I have the great honor of recognizing our girls volleyball team. Girls volleyball this year, in the 9 years or so that I have been at Thousand Oaks High School, was easily one of the most talented athletic groups ever assembled at our school. The level of talent in this group is just, it defies logic, and a great group of kids too. And also a magnificent group of parents. So parents out there, thank you for all your support this year. Absolutely. We have not a full team tonight. Several of our athletes are dual sport athletes. They're competing tonight elsewhere, or they have other commitments. Also not with us tonight is head coach James Park. Many of you know James, who's been a member of this school community for decades. James is out of the country, so he won't be able to be here tonight. Having said that, please help me welcome and celebrate our team. First up, we have Hallie Bryce. Hallie. All the way up and around. Also not here tonight is Dana Chung. And also not here tonight is Audrey Quico and Leah Curtin. All three of those young women weren't able to make it tonight. Next up, we have Cameron Dinkle. Cameron. Next up, London Halverson. London. Sailor Halverson. Sailor. Gwendolyn Honeycutt. Gwen. Not able to be here tonight, Ayala Keys and Haley Laritzen. Next up, we have Madeline Miller. Lillian Morge. Giovanna Newwin. And not able to make it tonight is Juliet Thompson. And somewhere here, Miss Kent, come on, Jen. We have one of our assistant coaches with us tonight, Jennifer Kent. Jennifer. One more round of applause for Marmoni League co-champions, Thousand Oaks High School girls volleyball. Nice job.
We'll have all parents as well out that door, making room for the other Lancer parents that are coming in next.
Big group coming in. It's going to be a significant pause. Yeah.
Might have to double up in this back row and just crouch down if you're in the front. Almost there, Dr. Sellers, almost there.
Standing room only. Kids right here. Thousand Oaks High School can fill a room.
Yes, we can. We'll show up.
Yes. All right. Very good. It's always nice to see Thousand Oaks High School never failing in their ability to fill a room. So nice job. Thanks for being here, Lancer families. Thank you very much. I was remiss in not recognizing one of our assistant principals who helped me hand out the awards for our volleyball team, and that was Mr. Josh Eby, our assistant principal of facilities, athletics, and safety. He's off to Agora High School to supervise an athletic event tonight. But joining me now in order to recognize and celebrate the achievements of our marching band is assistant principal Michael Godfrey, who is our assistant principal of student life. Mike, wave, say hello. I will not be doing the name reading for our marching band. I am going to be turning that duty over to our amazing band director, and if I might say so, one of my best hires ever, Mr. James Rumenap. And I'm going to turn the time over to him. But before I do, I just want to let you know why we're here tonight. So the Thousand Oaks High School Marching Band, for the second time in 3 years, brought home first place in the 3A division of the Southern California Orchestra and School Bands Association of Southern California.
That's right.
Yeah,
SCSBOA.
SCSBOA. Anyway, we're incredibly proud of them, and I want to turn the time over to James so he can recognize our students. Thank you. James?
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here for a second recognition of a gold medal. I just can't express my gratitude to the entire board for having us here again, and also to Dr. Bergman. Thank you for having us all here. I'd like to read our students' names, and as you hear your name, please come forward for your certificate. Our first student, Ari Aravind, Scarlett Aarons, Mia Ashtiani, Dawn Baker, Catherine Baldwin, Kevin Bettencourt, Harlan Blue, Mirabella Blue, Ureli Campos Gonzalez, Andrew Carlson,
Hold on a second, James.
Jocelyn Carmona Hernandez, Leilani Carmona Hernandez, Hazel Castaneda, Julio Kawich, Miles Chu, Ashley Chacon, Isabella Crossley, Julio Cruz, Sylvia Cruz, Lola Custodio, Mario Custodio, Mia Escalante, Alan España, Alexia Figueroa, Daniela Figueroa, Layla Francis, Evan Gorham, Rami Hassaneh, Ryan Henry, Cameron Hollowell, Grant Holmquist, John Hope, Matthew Hogue, Mateo Ibarra, Cameron Judd,
Cam.
Maddie Kim, Noah Kim, Rohan Kunstel, Haley Cooperstein, Logan Lambert, Ray Maples. Kale Matsuda. Jackson Manu. Alicia Medrano. Jaden Mendoza. Mila Moran. Casey Murray. Charlie Nystrom. Yuvan Oja. Maxime Ozarin. Lila Papavasiliou. Logan Pavia. Arsbeth Pereira. Bella Perez. Emma Poloyan. Liana Ramiscal. Arlette Revelis. Keanu Ravel. Cody Ravel. August Reese. Wyatt Rodman Plost. Allison Rodriguez. Mahalia Rubio. Dustin Santiago. Catalina Serrano. Jimmy Shields. Max Silva. Riley Simpson. Asher Sorensen. Brandon Sorrell. Sarah Tapi. Adriel Trujillo. Raul Villarosas. Daniela Woodhull. Natalie Yip. Hope Iniguez. And lastly, Bowen Yu. Let's give a big warm welcome and warm thank you to our Lancer Marching Band.
Okay, my front row, if you have someone behind you, you need to crouch down the front person. Thank you. Too low. Too low. Oh, you were in it all the way down, that's right. All right. Big smiles, face all these amazing cameras from all your amazing supporters. All right, big smiles.
Did Bill also get one?
I didn't see one.
Whatever email.
Oh, sorry. I missed it.
All parents follow their beautiful children that way.
All right. I just want to say I do appreciate that the board has this opportunity to recognize athletes and musicians, and in other times we recognize academic awards and the like. And that is definitely for us one of the highlights of the meeting, to see all of these amazing students pass through. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to the people in the audience who helped facilitate this. We are now moving on to item 2F, which is a report from a parent organization. In this case, it's our Gifted and Talented Education District Advisory Council, also known as GATEDAC, and we will hear from the GATEDAC chairperson, Christine Wells.
Good evening and thank you. My name is Dr. Christine Wells, and I'm here as the current chair of GATEDAC. I'd like to provide you with some highlights of this school year's activities. So the GATE program here at CVUSD is continuing to thrive, and we could not be more happy. The GATEDAC representatives and facilitators have been very active, setting up monthly GATE activities at most of the school sites. Recent activities include book origami, engineering in motion, JPL virtual tours, SPONT activities, and much, much more. This year, GATEDAC is focusing on ways to increase the number of volunteers, how to retain our volunteers, and creative fundraising ideas, because every GATEDAC rep wants to send their kids on a field trip. So we need money, and we're getting creative about how to raise that money. We're also working to increase student connections by having middle school students work with elementary school students and having high school students work with their middle school students. We thank you for your continuing support for the GATE program by funding the GATE TOSA position. Stephanie Caswell is a jewel and an endless source of energy, ideas, and resources. She hosts many GATE activities, and she is critical to the GATE testing and updating that testing as is needed from time to time. She gives the GATE program much needed consistency throughout the years. She's the glue that binds us all together through both space and time. Stephanie's work, along with that of Shane Frank and many others in the district, make the GATE program meaningful to so many of our students. We also thank you for your support for the GATE for the programs that appeal not only to GATE students, but to all students. Programs such as Noetic Math, Odyssey of the Mind, Battle of the Books, Spelling Bees, and Pi Day activities are enjoyed by all. We hope that you will continue to support the GATE program in the district and all of the students that it serves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wells, first of all, for coming to speak to us tonight, but also for all the work that you do and the time that you put in. So thank you. We are now at item 2G, public comments. So I need to read the following statement. The CVUSD Board of Education wants to hear from students, parents, employees, and our community. All individuals have the right to provide public comments during our school board meetings under Government Code 54954.3. Comments regarding specific items listed on tonight's agenda must be made when that agenda item is called. If you wish to speak on a topic that's not on the agenda, now, at this moment, is the time to provide your public comment. If you have not already done so and wish to speak, please hand in your blue card to Mrs. Feldman. Please note, if you have any materials that you would like to distribute to board members, please provide those materials to Mrs. Feldman as well. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the board cannot undertake any action or discussion on items that are not on tonight's posted agenda. However, members of the board or the staff may briefly reply to comments or questions posed by the public. Usually, we will wait till the end of the comment period before responding. As our meetings are held in public, your comments will be heard by those who are attending or watching a broadcast. In addition, the board encourages students to participate in civic affairs. Therefore, we hope that students are watching this meeting or in tonight's audience. Please be mindful of that, and please make your comments factual and offer them in a respectful manner. In compliance with all applicable state and federal laws, the governing board strives to respect the privacy rights of students and employees during our meetings. This includes the right for the identities of students to remain confidential. We also ask that speakers be sensitive to our employees' legal rights to privacy and confidentiality. As a reminder, those requesting to speak at this time on items that are not on tonight's agenda, this is your last chance to hand in your card. And please note that once we start this item, and once we start the public comment section, we are not going to accept any more speaker cards. How many? 14. Okay. All right, we have 14 speaker cards, so each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. So I'm going to read the first few names so you can kind of get yourself ready. First up, we have Julie Fruman, followed by Aaron Smith, followed by Ann Carlay.
Ready? Okay. Hi, my name is Julie Fruman. I'm a mother of 2 children in the district. I have a daughter at Westlake Hills Elementary and a son at Kalina Middle School. I'm here to talk about classroom technologies, and I'd like to start with talking about attention. So attention is a limited resource. It can be improved upon and it can be lost. It's also the currency through which learning and emotional regulation flow. Unfortunately, the technologies we have embedded in classrooms fragment attention and dysregulate emotion. The use of EdTech comes at the cost of the developing brain. Use of these devices train children to toggle, click, react, and seek constant stimulation rather than to focus, persist, and self-soothe. I'm not anti-tech. I would love it if we had computers on carts to check out when appropriate or in labs for intentional technology classes. I'd love it if my kids could learn about tech, but I'm shocked about the way that it's currently being used in our classrooms and it's being sent home in our kids' backpacks and ending up in their bedrooms. I've heard countless stories of harms that students have suffered while using their school-issued devices, several of which I emailed the board last spring. And now there's a new threat. Unregulated, completely unregulated AI chatbots, the harms of which are quickly accumulating and go far beyond cheating. The reality is, the richest people in the world are selling these products to schools for use by children as young as 5, and parents have no say in it. They're marketed as both essential and safe when they are neither. Imagine if a textbook company delivered math books randomly crammed with games, notes from other students, and pictures of naked girls. Would we really say that it's a student's job to stay focused? What if a manufacturer of playground equipment was missing vital parts on their playground? Would we tell kids to just be playground awesome and avoid the dangerous parts? Of course not. But how is that any different from schools and parents telling kids to try and be internet awesome? And what about privacy and data? Would we allow a massive company to assign a human observer to every student to follow them around all day and night at school and at home, monitoring and recording every move, their grades, their class participation, and noting what tends to capture their attention so that the company can make predictions about their performance and behavior and monetize it? It's completely inappropriate. I want my kids to learn technology, but not on devices and platforms that illegally steal their data, disrupt their attention, gamify learning, and ultimately, and potentially, most importantly, aren't more effective than traditional learning methods. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fruman. Mr. Smith.
Yes. Thank you. My name is Aaron Smith. I'm a father of 2 CVUSD students, a 3rd grader and a 7th grader. My first impression of CVUSD from about 8 years ago when we moved here was extremely positive. While I'm still very happy with CVUSD, I do feel that the rapid adoption of computers and educational tech in the classroom, since COVID especially, has been disappointing. My kids now require access to a screen and the internet to complete simple homework assignments. My kids are issued school laptops that I have no control over and have access to sites I don't personally approve of, nor do I think are necessary. My daughters have cried at the school computer screen many times because a silly worksheet required drawing a line from point A to point B or circling a correct answer, something that can be done far faster and easier with pencil and paper. Many times, my kids have started doing schoolwork only to finish or stop early and start playing a school-approved game on the school laptop without me knowing. These school-approved games, at least the ones I have seen, they're not challenging, they're not educational, they have inappropriate ads, and in my opinion, are not providing any value at all. My daughters have also told me about using computers in the school. They talk about kids watching YouTube or playing video games in the classroom. They even talk about this happening during lessons, in addition to during free time before school starts or after completing an assignment. I'm really dumbfounded by that. This is all pretty frustrating to me and makes my goal as a parent of managing screen time and enriching my kids' lives significantly more challenging. I'm not at all an expert on child psychology or education, but my experience is that computers and educational tech seem to be actively harming my kids. I just want to add a couple more things. First, about myself. Hopefully this doesn't come off as conceited or arrogant. I started programming computers at age 13 with my mother, who was a computer scientist. I have a PhD in physics, and I actively work on quantum technologies. I love computers, and I love technology, and I love education. I have a very deep respect for educators from preschool all the way through college and graduate school. All that being said, I urge the board and our educators to take a critical look at what early and widespread adoption of educational tech and computers are doing to our children. Of all the most impactful things I've seen my kids do at CVUSD schools and elementary and middle schools, none of them involved a computer. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Ann Carlay.
Hi, I'm Ann Carlay. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm a chief clinical officer at a nonprofit in Los Angeles. I have 2 children in CVUSD and elementary school. I'm here today because I am extremely concerned about how technology is being used at our district schools. And I want to note, I understand topics like this can cause people to feel defensive based on our own use of technology and how we feel about our use or what we've let our kids do. But I think it's really important when we're thinking about change on a district level, on a personal level, is to agree with the concept that it's okay to change our minds and change our policies when we learn new information. We need to be open to the idea that maybe how we've been doing things isn't working. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe, definitely, the new research shows that we've all made mistakes in how we've so fully integrated tech into our schools and our lives. And now that we know better, we can do better. Don't allow defensiveness or complacency to impact the decisions you make. Make decisions based on research and facts, on what is actually best for the education of our students, not on what is easier for the schools and the teachers, easier for students, easier for the administration. Be bold. Say we've read the research. Now we've realized that how we're doing things isn't working. Here's just a brief snapshot of some of that research. Students who read online tend to comprehend less than those who read via paper. Students tend to perform worse when testing online compared with those who test on paper. Many of the EdTech applications have little valid and reliable research associated with them. When screens are present but not even being used for learning, even in backpacks or with the screens closed, students learn less and are more distractive. And writing by hand as opposed to typing increases retention and comprehension. And there's so much more research out there. As board members, I think you have a responsibility to ensure you're making decisions based on facts, and I hope you will do so. What I personally would love to see is a reversal of the one-to-one device system, especially in the elementary and middle school levels. I want to see comprehensive and strict AI policies. I want to see a decrease in the amount of time our children are on screens at school and an increase in the use of real books, paper, pens, and pencils. Research backs up all these ideas. I love research, but I also love anecdotes. So here's one for you. A 4th grader I know in the district was instructed with her class by their teacher to put an essay they wrote into ChatGPT with a grading rubric so that it could give them feedback about their writing. Why can schools use AI technology without approval or notification to the parents? And why are teachers having students use it in this manner? There are no policies about AI, as far as I can tell, about the use of tech, about what websites can and can't be used at school, and so much more, and they're seemingly non-existent. These sorts of things are going to continue to occur. I am really hopeful that the board will consider strict, comprehensive, research-based tech policies so our district can be a leader in this space as opposed to just another status quo district letting tech take over our classrooms. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next 3 are Robert Greether, Tina McCraw, and Grace Jing. Giay, I think.
Are you ready? Good evening. My name is Rob Grether, and I'm a parent of two boys in 3rd and 6th grade in the district. Last night, I had the opportunity to hear Dr. Lori Santos, a Yale psychology professor and host of the Happiness Lab, speak about the science of well-being and the troubling rise in anxiety and unhappiness among young people. She emphasized that it's not just whether technology is used, but how it's used, especially when it displaces sleep and real face-to-face interaction that can undermine mental health and meaningful connection. With that in mind, I want to talk briefly about school-issued laptops in our classrooms. Even when a laptop is being used for class, its constant presence as an open window to the internet pulls students' attention. Research on classroom laptop use shows that easy access to tabs and apps leads to frequent multitasking, which is linked to worse comprehension and lower academic performance. In short, an open laptop is a built-in distraction, especially for younger students with still developing self-control. This is not unique to kids. Adults struggle with the same thing. Many workplaces know employees drift to sports, news, and social media during the workday. March Madness even popularized the boss button so people could hide the basketball games they were watching on their computers. If adults can't reliably resist those temptations, it's unrealistic to expect children to self-regulate perfectly with a Chromebook open in front of them for hours on end. There's also the question of when these devices are used. Students can use school laptops during recess and breaks, meaning time meant for face-to-face play and conversation is often replaced by solo screen time. Developmental psychologists emphasize that unstructured in-person interaction during late childhood and early adolescence is critical for social development, and once that time is lost, it cannot be recreated later. I also want to share my family's experience. Earlier this week, my 6th grader asked his teachers if he could stop using his classroom computer because he recognizes how distracting it is. When a 12-year-old can clearly say, "This tool is pulling me away from my learning," that should give us pause. Finally, there are real content and risk concerns. Parents must sign permission slips for a single PG movie shown by a teacher, yet students can stream inappropriate or unlicensed content on school-issued devices connected to school Wi-Fi. To be specific, my son reported that students were watching Stephen King's It, and he is in 6th grade. That raises serious questions about filtering and supervision, raises concerns about students' mental health, and increases the district's risk of litigation. Tonight, I'm asking for simple steps like prohibiting use during recess and non-instructional breaks, and only using laptops when they're necessary in the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Tina.
Hi, good evening. I'm Tina McGraw. I have 2 students in the district. I want to speak tonight about the role of school-issued devices in the lives of our young students. As a parent, I see real benefits to technology when it's used with intention, but I also see troubling consequences when devices are handed to children too early and without enough safeguards. Young kids are not equipped to set limits for themselves, and it often takes families months to recognize that their child's struggles are tied to screen habits. As a clinical psychologist, I am up to date on the latest research regarding tech use and children. The great majority of this research is ringing alarm bells about the mental health harms of social media use and excessive tech exposure by young people. The way our district currently assigns devices creates several challenges. First, it undermines parents' ability to decide when their child is ready for personal technology. Many families intentionally hold off on giving their children a device, only to have that decision overridden once their child enrolls in school. Second, the safeguards in place don't fully protect our students. Platforms like YouTube remain widely accessible, and anyone who has used YouTube knows that inappropriate or harmful content often slips through. Beyond exposure to harmful content, there's also the issue of what devices displace. Face-to-face social interaction, physical play, and time spent outdoors are critical to healthy development. Yet parents report their kids are turning to screens before school, during lunch, and after class instead of engaging with peers. Most parents don't give elementary-age children smartphones for a good reason. It doesn't make sense for schools to require an internet-connected personal device for that same age group. Same for middle school. For middle school students, homework assignments that must be completed online seat our children in front of a computer screen at home. The temptations to browse the internet and websites like YouTube are inevitable. Most parents would highly prefer for their children to learn using books and paper so they don't have to worry about unfettered access to the internet for their middle schoolers. If we are required to have our middle schoolers on laptops, there should be software available to parents to set limits to sites like YouTube and general screen time limits. Excessive screen use, even for educational purposes, disrupts children's nervous systems and makes them more irritable, and short-form content especially leads to reduced attention, concentration, and memory function. Finally, we can't ignore equity. Families with the fewest resources are the least able to supervise device use at home, which means that those children often end up with the highest levels of unsupervised screen time. The original intent of one-to-one devices may have been to close gaps, but in practice it may be making them wider, with many of our students in this district browsing online unsupervised for hours a day. Please end the one-to-one device model for our youngest students. Restrict YouTube access for our middle school and high school students even. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Grace. I'm a mom of a fifth grader at CVUSD, and then thanks for the board for the opportunity to speak. I'm here to ask something very specific. I echo everybody, just the desire expressed. I'm here to ask the school district to consider limit amount of computer-based homework assigned at home. Due to growing concern about student exposure to unsafe online content and social media. So when homework requires a device, one-on-one device, and limited and with internet access, it becomes very difficult for families to fully monitor what children encounter online. And especially in households where parents are working, caring for siblings, or siblings are sharing devices. And even with filters in place, and there's really not really true filters out there, and students can still be exposed to inappropriate content, online harassment potentially, or distractions that undermine both their safety and learning. So many parents are doing our best to protect the students. For example, at home, we limit screen time, and we put internet safety filters to prevent them from going to certain sites or go to social media. But when they have a device with internet access, when parents can't do anything about it, it makes it really difficult for us to be consistent with internet safety. So reducing online homework would help limit unsupervised internet use while still allowing school to teach digital skills in a structured and supervised classroom environment. And at home, students would benefit more from pen and pencil and paper homework and offline assignment, and reinforce the learning without having these safety risks. We would, as a parent, I would like to see them spend their time at home, socialize with their friends, with their siblings, with the parents, with a family, rather than spending 2 hours in front of a screen. So I would respectfully urge the board to prioritize student safety, well-being by promoting a screen-free or low-screen homework policy. And thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. All right, our next three, Lana Kimmich, Hillary Povar, and Heather Gold.
Hi, I'm Lana Kimmick. I have 11-year-old twins in 5th grade, and they're going into middle school. And I've not really been happy about the Chromebook situation in their classrooms from the get-go, because we sit down for dinner every night, and they already tell me stories about kiddos doing naughty things on those computers during the day. And so I didn't even know that they were going to be going home with Chromebooks when they enter middle school, but we've been doing the school tours, and that's the new information that we've learned. And I had no idea that there would be no safeguards. I've been doing a great job as a parent to limit their screen time, and I have put different safeguards in place on our current laptops at home where they have to ask permission to use things, and I'm able to see what they've done on the computer. I can supervise and monitor, and I can just go ahead and make sure that they're being safe and also limit their time. And the fact that I'm not going to be able to do that on these Chromebooks really upsets me and bothers me, and I don't want that. So I would really like to just ask the board to please reconsider sending my kids home with something that I cannot control, because they're my kids and I don't want them on these devices. Of course, I also would prefer, like everyone has said, to have them be more aligned with, the pen, paper, whatnot. I mean, I even notice spelling errors. They're waiting for the underlining to happen on the computer versus learning how to spell. Kiddo, you gotta learn how to spell on the piece of paper. That's not happening with the computers. So I think that it definitely is limiting their learning in that capacity, and they're gonna get into trouble. They're not gonna have that self-control like everyone's been saying, and I don't want that for them. So this is my stance on this as well. I don't like this, I don't want it, and I really hope that that decision's gonna be made so that they're not being sent home with these Chromebooks. They're small, they're little, I don't want this for them. So thank you for your time, thank you for hearing me. I'm flying off the cuff tonight, but it really hurts my heart to think that my kids are gonna be exposed to this, and I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Ms. Povar.
Hi there, my name's Hillary. I'm the mother to 2 children. I have one who's in 1st grade and one who is 2 and eventually will become a student in the district. In my 1st grade classroom, the class is so large, it has 24 students, that a portion of the students are routinely placed on iPads so the teacher can manage instruction for the rest. That means shared devices and shared headphones. And now we have a major lice outbreak tied directly to that practice. So not only are our young children straining their eyes, hijacking developing reward pathways, and forming habits that look a lot like addiction, they're also bringing literal parasites home. This is not a learning innovation, it's a health, developmental, and classroom management failure. I just want to also add that it would be amazing for you guys to be a leader in this space, to set a bar for how other districts, other states, other school systems are leading in the tech space, and you guys have an opportunity to set the bar super high for other classrooms, other systems, other places. So I really encourage you guys to put some thought leadership against it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Heather, and I also have 2 kids in the district. I have a 1st grader and a 3rd grader, and I'm here in support and echo all the speakers before me. Child development specialists and pediatricians tell us that screen time is bad for our kids and to avoid it. It's a struggle, but we try to limit it. Then we send our kids to school and they're given a laptop with the entire internet and put in front of them when they are supposed to be listening to a teacher. Something's very wrong with the situation. We parents deserve full transparency in knowing how much time kids are spending on screens per day and what websites they are accessing. We should be able to opt out of YouTube and other sites, Roblox, that we know are not appropriate. So I just wanted to come in and support the fellow parents here and really appreciate you guys including this on your agenda tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next 3 are Rochelle McLean, Rebecca Tillman, and Linda Malud.
Good evening. My name is Rochelle McLean, and I'm a mom of 2 daughters in the Conejo Valley School District. One is in 3rd grade, and one is in 7th grade. At this moment in history, when misinformation is rampant and democracy depends on informed thinking public, outsourcing thinking to AI is deeply concerning. Children need to learn how to struggle with ideas, evaluate sources, form arguments, and think independently. If we hand those processes over to machines too early, we weaken the very skills that society now depends on most. This is precisely the wrong time to train students to stop thinking for themselves. If I'm not comfortable with my children using AI and computers at home, they shouldn't be using them in the school district, in the school system. My daughter was super frustrated the other day as she did an entire assignment, and the following morning she checked it and it wasn't saved onto her computer. And it had to be redone at the last minute. Also, children in her class were, she's in a unique situation, but children in her class were Googling her father during a math class, which is highly inappropriate, and she's sitting there having to defend herself but while having her personal private life invaded while she's in a math class. And it's highly inappropriate. It's disrupting her learning process, and I echo everything everyone else said about pen and paper, textbooks. That's how we all learned. We know we learn that way, and we know that's what's best for our children. And so I implore you to please change the, just change what we're doing. Let's give our kids a fighting chance. Let's help them. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Rebecca. I have two boys in the district. Mounting evidence suggests that one-to-one Chromebook and AI-driven learning tools are linked to poorer academic outcomes and reduced attention. If they don't improve learning, the question is so simple. Why are we using them?
Short and sweet. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I just have a quick question before, well, I guess my time started. During this time, am I allowed to donate some of my time to someone else who wasn't able to finish their speech, or is that not allowed?
That would be something you would do before the public comment. So
okay.
for next time.
For next time, I'll take note. Okay. Hi, I'll start over. My name is Linda. I have two kids, two boys in the district, one in first grade and one in fourth grade. I also have a short and simple comment, and then I'll have a little something at the end. So students in my children's class are not allowed to leave their Chromebooks at school, which means the device comes home every day with the full internet at the child's fingertip. That creates enormous conflict at home because kids understandably just want to play games and go on YouTube, instead of using the computers as a neutral academic tool as it's intended. Many families do not want this dynamic, and we should not be forced into it by school policy. Schools should be partners with parents, not the source of constant power struggles. I also want to talk about the different studies that have shown the physical aspect of this. Students are now becoming a lot more nearsighted because they are constantly on these devices. So it's actually physically changing their bodies, as well as a lot of students are now becoming a little bit hunchback because they are in their classrooms looking down at their iPads. They're not having proper posture when it comes to their computers. So not only are we affecting their brains and their development, but they are actually having physical things happen to their bodies, and it's just not fair to them. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. I think we all straightened up when she said that. All right, I have two more speakers, Ariaman Petrolo and Simeon Suri. 3 minutes each.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Arman Potlu, and I have, first of all, thank you for the board for allowing me to speak. Great opportunity. And thanks for everyone to take the time to be here and listen to everything that they have to say. I'd like to discuss Diwali, a significant holiday celebrated by millions of people all around the world and plenty of communities within the CVUSD district. Diwali is also known as Deepavali, which means a roll of lights. It is called the Festival of Lights and represents victory over darkness, good over evil, and people celebrate the light by lighting lamps, spending time with their family, and reflecting on positive values. For Hindus, Diwali is celebrated because of the return of Lord Ram after bringing dharma back to home, justice, by defeating the evil and restoring good. For which, in Jainism, they celebrate Mahavira, which he reached moksha, spiritual heightness, and freedom, which focuses on peace, self-control, and a good and moral life. For Sikhs, Diwali is connected to Bandit Chor Divas, which celebrates the release of Guru Hargobind Ji Singh from imprisonment and stands as freedom and justice to this day. And even some Buddhist communities take it a part of their celebration as well, not as religious, but cultural, throughout South Asia and even in our community, by sharing values like harmony, respect, and community. Across all these cultures, Diwali is about spending time with family, showing kindness to others, hope, and new beginnings. Recognizing holidays like Diwali helps build new understandings, respect, and makes our city more welcoming to everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members. My name is Simran Suri. I'm also here on behalf of Diwali. Before I begin, and opposed to my better dressed colleague, I'm gonna start with an antidote. First off, Diwali is the antithesis of good versus evil. That celebration is so intrinsically ingrained in Indian culture throughout the continent that it is one of the few uniting factors of hundreds of groups. Why is this important? It's because every single year, students have to endure a battle, not of good versus evil, but of school versus religion. Something that was thrown away hundreds of years ago is being brought up again. Students have to worry about final preparation, test preparation, on a day that's supposed to be about light and celebration. Now, we understand this isn't any fault of the trustees of the board, nor of this amazing parent community, but the reality is, change is necessary. Kids do not deserve to go home and pick and choose between getting grades and education, which is another intrinsic value in our culture, to having to celebrate their own religion and their own ideology. What we propose and what we've already started is a petition that we've already created that's in 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, has gained over 100 members with almost no advertisement through school, just family and friends in Ventura that's been verified. We've already gained over 100 members. What do we ask the board to do today? We ask you of two things, and either one is possible based off your own willingness. A, you help us move around school days, use the ideas of the schedule that we've created to allow for Diwali, to allow for that day in November to be so special for the Indian community. Or if we're not prepared to do that, give us a goal. We've already told you in 2 weeks, 14 days, we've gotten 100 members to sign this petition. Tell us how many more do we need to make this part of our culture, our school, to let everyone in our community know that their culture is celebrated. Over 12,000. That's just the people who are going to be affected, not even the communities. Thank you so much for your time. I yield the rest of my time to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you to the last two speakers for your, first of all, for your passion as well as the education around this. So I appreciate that. I do want to make one point about technology, harkening back to the first speakers. We have a technology committee in place that is currently and actively working on our existing technology policy, as well as a new policy around artificial intelligence. And to show how seriously we take these concerns and how important these policies are, in a few minutes, we are going to vote on adding 2 board members to the technology committee. So board members who have not previously sat on this committee, and now they will. So hopefully over the next few months, you'll be seeing some changes I can't tell you what that will be, but some changes around that technology policy, as well as a brand new policy on AI. Trustee Kearns?
I just wanted to quickly say, for those in the audience who may happen to be excellent public speakers, please keep an eye out for SDAC applications in early February.
That was an advertisement. Okay. All right, so I would like to thank all of our public speakers for coming and sharing with us tonight. We are now going to move on to item 3A on our agenda, which is adoption of resolution number 25/26-19. Do I have a motion? I see Ms. Powell.
President Sylvester, I move that we adopt resolution 25/26-19, declaring February 2nd through 6th, 2026 as National School Counseling Week.
Great.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, I see no discussion, and obviously this is an incredibly important resolution, recognizing and appreciating all of the hard work that our school counselors do each and every day. So with that, let us vote. Trustee Kearns?
Yes.
Trustee Goldberg?
Yes.
Trustee Gill?
Yes.
Trustee Gorbach?
Yes.
Trustee Powell?
Yes.
I am a yes. Motion carries 5-0 with a preferential yes vote from Trustee Kearns. All right, we are moving on to item 3B, Student Services, adoption of resolution number 25/26-22. Do I have a motion? Trustee Gill.
Trustee Sylvester, I move that we adopt resolution number 25/26-22 in recognition of National Black History Month.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none, I just want to note this year's theme is a century of Black History commemoration, because this is the 100th year of actually honoring Black History Month during the month of February. So with that, let's vote. Trustee Kearns?
Yes.
Trustee Powell?
Yes.
Trustee Gorbach?
Yes.
Trustee Goldberg?
Yes.
Trustee Gill?
Yes.
I am a yes. Motion carries 5-0 with a preferential yes vote from Trustee Kearns. All right, you're the horse. Item 3C, adoption of resolution number 25/26-23. Do I have a motion? Mr. Gorbach.
President Sylvester.
Yes.
I move that we adopt resolution 25/26-23 in recognition of Lunar New Year as submitted.
Okay, is there a second? Trustee Powell?
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, please vote. Trustee Kearns?
Yes.
Trustee Gorbach?
Yes.
Trustee Goldberg?
Yes.
Trustee Gill?
Yes.
Trustee Powell?
Yes.
I am a yes. Motion carries 5-0 with a preferential yes vote from Trustee Kearns. All right. I alluded to this a few minutes ago, if you've been anxiously awaiting. We are now on item 3D, which is an update and consideration of school board member assignments to various committees. So do I have a motion? Trustee Goldberg.
I move that we approve the school board member assignments to committees as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will just thank my fellow trustees for their input and sending me all of their priorities and wants and desires, and I tried to meet as many of those as I could. So, seeing no other comments, please vote. Trustee Kearns?
Yes.
Trustee Gill?
Yes.
Trustee Powell?
Yes.
Trustee Goldberg?
Yes.
Trustee Gorbach?
Yes.
I am a yes. Motion carries 5-0 with a preferential yes vote from Trustee Kearns. All right, we are now at item 3E, which is a review of the bond feasibility survey and a consideration to continue the exploration of this bond. Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion?
You do, but I have a question about framing the motion because it's just to review.
It would be a yes or no. Yep.
I move that we review the bond feasibility survey and consideration to continue exploration of local facilities general obligation bond measure for November 2026 and would vote and would recommend a postponement of such an endeavor.
Okay, it has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Trustee Gill has seconded. So before we turn over to the board, Dr. Hayek or Dr. McLaughlin, do you have any comments on this?
I want to make sure, Dr. Hayek, you're comfortable with that motion the way it was presented? And nothing's wrong. I just want to make sure.
Because it's really two
It's a
motions.
tricky-
It's
it
a
is
tricky motion.
it's a tricky motion.
I move that we review it, and also, maybe I jumped the gun, maybe we should have had a two-tiered process where we review it, and then we vote yes or no.
Well, if ultimately we decide we want to move forward, we would
can
vote
change my-
no,
yes.
or we can go back and change it.
Correct. So, what do you think, Dr. Hayek?
Yes,
Want me to change it?
it's a yes or no. If you want to postpone, then it would be something in addition to, or amended.
So, okay.
So it's
No, I
the
meant- I
motion.
literally meant,
Yes or no, do we continue the
okay.
Would it not? Oh,
Is the motion, so if I'm gonna make a motion to either, you want me to make a motion either to continue or to not continue, or do you want me to make a motion to review?
To continue or not continue.
Okay,
The exploration of.
okay. So then I'm gonna amend my motion. I move that we review the bond feasibility survey and consider not continuing the exploration of the local facilities general obligation bond measure for November 2026.
Okay, I think, Ms. Gill, you seconded. Do you want to second it? Okay. All right, any comments from Dr. McLaughlin or Dr. Hayek before we move further?
I would just say that earlier this school year, the board had requested some information about moving forward, at least with a survey, to see if our community was ready to possibly support another bond on top of following Measure I. I think the results are presented within the documents and attachments, and so now I'll turn it to the board for further discussion and direction to staff.
Okay, Trustee Gorbach, you had your light on first.
I just have a question on the structure of the motion or the actions that we're either going to take or not take. Would it not accomplish the same thing if we just voted no on this motion to review? If we decide that we don't want?
I'm willing to change it again.
I think we're okay. You voted, if we all decide we want to continue, then we would vote no on your motion.
It would be a double negative, which is a positive.
Thank
you.
I have not
got
had
the
enough,
English
I
teacher
have not
thumbs
had
up,
enough
so I'm
caffeine
good.
today.
See all those English teachers nodding their heads? We're moving in the right direction.
Okay, we're good.
I guess, yeah, the reason I made the motion the way I did is because after looking at the survey, I feel like we need a lot more runway and a lot more education around why Measure I was so fantastic and so needed, and why we need to do it again or do something similar again. So that's why I made the motion the way I did, and that's just coming from my own experience back in 2014 and how hard we worked then, and that the community was in a much better space given this information and more willing to sort of come along with the narrative, and I think we need more time.
Okay, any other comments?
Not that I don't think we need a bond, I just think that now is not, we're not ready for it.
Correct. Trustee Powell.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that statement. I think we have a historical, we have history to look at with Measure I and how that was rolled out, and we know that length of sort of prep time leading up from very beginning of engagement and start to vote time was 18 months. And there's a lot that goes into it. We have to have an independent committee. There's a lot of fundraising. I'm guessing upwards of 200 to maybe 300 grand that would have to be raised in order to run that. It's a lot. And so I agree that I think, I was hoping for like some data from the survey that would make it a slam dunk. And honestly, even if the data did seem like it was a slam dunk, I'd still be worried about the time frame. So I hope that if, depending on what we decide, and if we're in agreement that we need more time, I hope we can really be thoughtful about making sure we're coming back to this issue in, say, January 2027, let's say, and just really make sure we're starting early enough to make sure that we're giving ourselves that time for community engagement and support and rollout.
Okay, Mr. Gorbach?
So again, to clarify, a yes vote is a yes to review whether we want to say no.
A yes vote would signify you agree with the motion, which is to not continue. Right? English teachers, yes, okay. Yeah, it is complicated. Other comments or thoughts on this? I would, Dr. Hayek.
Just for some context, so stopping now, whatever happens, the next window would be in November of 2028.
You mean to actually go forward with a bond? The next voting time would be
Yes.
20, but we could start talking about it well in advance, go back to my long runway,
Right.
start telling the story way in advance.
Right.
like, Okay.
Ms. Powell?
I just wanted to make a note to whoever's listening, all of you here, that one of the first questions the survey asked was of the respondents was they listed a number of issues in our community that folks thought were important. And those were maintaining the quality of education in local schools, improving public safety, maintaining local streets and roads, creating jobs and improving the local economy, preventing local tax increases, repairing and renovating aging school facilities, and reducing traffic congestion. And I just want to say that of all that list of items, by far, the most important item was maintaining the quality of education in our schools. And so we know that our community loves our schools, and that to me was just a great reminder of that. 68.3% said it was extremely important, then another 22.6% said very important. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there so people hear that. 91% total, yes, saying it was important. Yeah, huge.
Yeah, honestly, I will echo a lot of those comments. I mean, clearly, I don't think there's any debate that we will need some additional financial resources to repair infrastructure that is as old as I am, as well as updating our classrooms to continue to offer 21st century instruction. Like Dr. Powell said, the results were, I would characterize as meh. With a lot of work and a lot of time and commitment and financial resources, could we get it over the 55% line? Possibly. But the other thing that the survey pointed out was this is a point-in-time survey. This is how people feel today about affordability, about how much money they have, about the political environment, everything. And so you have to think about what will things be like by next November. Will they be better or worse? And I don't see a lot of signs saying things are going to get much better. So I think we're going into that as well. I also think that as a district, we do have an obligation to take a look at ourselves and right-size our district before we ask taxpayers to, again, put money into all of the facilities that we have. So with all that, I guess I'm agreeing with the way Trustee Goldberg structured the motion. I do think we should revisit this in time for the 2028 election, because it has to be put on during an election cycle, and also to give it a longer on-ramp, as suggested by Trustee Powell. So any other thoughts on any of that? Okay, we are ready to vote. So to be clear, if we vote yes, that means we do not want to continue at this time with the bond feasibility. Yes is a no. Trustee Kearns.
Wait, how does it work one more time? No, I'm joking. Yes.
Trustee Gill.
Yes.
Trustee Powell.
Yes.
Trustee Goldberg.
Yes.
Trustee Gorbach.
Yes.
I'm a yes. The motion carries 5-0 with a preferential yes vote from Trustee Kearns. So at this point, just to be very clear, we are not going to continue to move forward at this time with the bond feasibility survey. All right, we are now on section 4, which is action items on our consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Trustee Gorback.
President Sylvester, I move that we approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, please vote. Trustee Kearns?
Yes.
Trustee Gorback?
Yes.
Trustee Goldberg?
Yep.
Trustee Gill?
Yes.
Trustee Powell?
Yes.
I am a yes. Motion carries 5-0 with a preferential yes vote from Trustee Kearns. All right, we're now at the fun stuff. We are at item 5A, and we are going to have a presentation on the International Baccalaureate Continuum. So this is a presentation, a joint presentation by Newbury Park High School, Sequoia Middle School, and Cypress Elementary School, the principals and the IB coordinators. So take it away.
All right, good morning. I just want to first say thank you for welcoming us back to another school board meeting. Am I to introduce all of us? I think someone else is going to do that, but I think I will.
I'd be happy to introduce you all.
Why don't you introduce
Yeah.
us, and then I'll jump on to the next slide.
Thank you, Principal McDonald. So at the request of the Board of Education, I believe earlier in the school year, there was a request to just learn more about definitely the updates and the great things that are happening in our district's IB continuum. And I know that they'll talk a little bit about it, but we're so proud to have developed this IB continuum that really we don't see certainly anywhere in Ventura County, let alone Southern California. So we have incredible educators here, teachers and administrators that have taken on this work. I will briefly just introduce this dynamic team, which is Michelle McDonald, principal at Cypress Elementary, Haley Rohde, who is our Cypress IB coordinator, teacher on assignment, Ms. Carla DiDemizio, principal at Sequoia Middle School. We have Karen Hochevar, our Sequoia IB coordinator, teacher on assignment. We have Mr. Steve Lapierre, principal at Newbury Park High School. Ms. Jill Magnante, our Newbury Park High School IB coordinator for MYP, because we're getting straight into the acronyms. And then Ms. Debbie Donshai, our Newbury Park High School IB coordinator for DP Diploma Program. And so with that, I will toss it over to Ms. McDonald.
Awesome. I'm just excited how much our team is growing. All right. Once again, thank you for welcoming us back. We love to be here. IB is our passion, so we are excited to share with all of you guys. We decided this year to really give you an overview of what an IB continuum is, as well as give you a little bit of IB history and a little statistics about IB, since we're becoming a continuum. The rest of the evening, we are going to start with Newbury Park High School. It's an IB emphasis that we begin with the end, with the goal in mind. So we're going to let our high school begin and then work backwards. Before we leave this slide, I'm going to kind of share with what Kenny was doing, and I'm going to really quickly go over a couple acronyms and what it means to be an authorized and what it means to be a candidate, so that we mention that it's a little easier to understand. Again, the PYP is the Primary Years Program, elementary school. The middle years program is the MYP, and that's going to be our 6th through 10th graders. And then our diploma program is the DP program, and it's for the 11th and 12th graders. Cypress and the DP program are both authorized programs, and that just means that we're official IB program through multi-day evaluation processes that occur every 5 years. To be a candidate school, it means you are recognized by IB as in the process of becoming IB, and you have met certain requirements. Next slide. So we have a little history here. IB began in 1971 with just 12 private schools. The MYP followed in 1994, and then the PYP followed in 1997. So those first programs were only the DP program. By 2005, it's now 6,000 plus schools, and it's both public and private. So if you take a look at the bottom here, it started just in private schools. Globally, it's about 50-50 private schools, public schools. And in the United States, it's about 88% public schools. So we have a lot of good company. If we focus in on just the history here just some facts about IB County. We have 20 counties in the CVUSD, and there are only 3, our continuum is kind of 1, and then Simi Valley has a diploma program, and then the Oxnard has a diploma program, as well as sort of like half of a middle years program. They do have the 9th and 10th grade portion at their high school. So we would be the only continuum in Ventura County. And again, that's when Sequoia and the 9th and 10th grade in Newbury Park become a fully authorized program.
I will just jump in and say that we have had other schools and school districts in Ventura County reach out to learn about the good work that's happening, thanks to our educators and our students.
Awesome. All right, now we're going to focus on our CVUSD journey. This journey began, what was it, almost exactly to today, 30 years ago, right? Almost exactly to the date of this board meeting, Newbury Park High School gained their full authorization to be an IB diploma program. So we have a lot of history in IB here in our school district. In 2019, a group of Cypress teachers really wanted to improve inquiry at Cypress. And so looking at some of our school data, they went out, explored, and decided to start the journey to become an IB World School. And we decided to do that program, and then COVID hit, so we drug on a little bit. We powered through COVID, and by 2023, we're a fully authorized program. That same year, later in the year, Sequoia was really kind of looking for a more inclusive program to build upon their Discover program, and so them, as well as Newbury Park High School, began the process of becoming a fully authorized program. They gained their candidacy in 2023. And then by 2026, our plan in spring is that they're going to be fully authorized. So we're looking forward to that. Another quick fact is there are only, so this would complete the continuum that we've been kind of keep mentioning that word. This would make us one of only 6 in California. So pretty awesome. We also get to kind of pull some numbers together on Zoom and, or I guess Teams, and we would be reaching now 2,622 students in our district. So pretty awesome. There is cohesiveness to the 3 of our programs. Although they have their differences, there are areas that we all focus upon. And the first thing I just want to really quickly do is read IB's common vision for us. The aim of all IB programs is to develop internationally minded people who, recognizing their common humanity and shared guardianship of the planet, help create a better and more peaceful world. Pretty awesome vision there. And so as we complete this continuum, these are areas that all of our schools will be focusing on. The first one is those learner profile attributes. If you take a look at that outer blue ring, there are 10 words, attributes that make a good person, make a good learner, make a good U.S. citizen, and really make a good global citizen and a great learner. And so those, as my IB coordinator helped me point out this morning, they're both purple because they are tied together. They really feel that teaching these 10 learner profile attributes just truly builds within them to become international minded. All of our teachers who teach IB are required to be trained, and through that training, they learn these approaches to teaching that are just good teaching. You think about inquiry, collaboration, pulling in local and global context. So we're all focusing on the same approaches to teaching throughout all levels. And then the approaches to learning is what we hope to instill within our students. The importance of really thinking about what you're doing, communication skills, and that good research. So as we move forward to learn about each of our programs, again, beginning with the end in mind, I just kind of want to just sort of point on how we're unique, and this is how IB kind of compares the 3 programs. The IB PYP focuses on holistic, transdisciplinary inquiry for our youngest learners. The MYP, our middle years program, builds interdisciplinary skills and concept-based understanding for adolescents And the DP program is a rigorous, academically intense, pre-university program with formal assessments, preparing students for global higher education through a broad, challenging curriculum. So let's hear from our high school. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, CVUSD School Board, for having us here tonight to make this presentation. We are so excited about our IB program, and having been in the district for about 25 years now and being at an IB school that whole time, I'm just so thrilled to see that we have now this full continuum from kindergarten all the way up to high school. So these are some of our amazing IB dancers. And yes, as Michelle mentioned, tomorrow, can all celebrate. That is our official 30th anniversary of being an authorized diploma program at Newbury Park High School. So almost 30 years to the date today. So it's very nice to be presenting at this time. Accidental, we didn't plan it that way, but I'd like to say that we did. So to give you an idea, the diploma program, as Michelle mentioned, is a little bit different than the other programs. It was the first international baccalaureate program to develop with this idea of creating global citizens and creating a rigorous program, but in a way that supports all kinds of learners and students in challenging themselves to learn things at really a college level and to actually articulate with global universities to help students actually earn college credits going in, and also to aid in their college admission process. So at Newbury Park High School, if we go back 30 years, we did start with a very small cohort of students and a very small cohort of teachers. And in the beginning, we just had one subject within each discipline group. And you can see that over time, we've grown and have now a wide range of offerings for students to take within the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. And these are now open not just to students who are working towards the International Baccalaureate Diploma, but additionally, we have course candidates. So that means that all of our students have access to these opportunities to take individual courses, even if they're not someone who wants to take the entire all 6 program. So just to give you a little bit of information about what I mean by diploma students versus course candidates, there are some IB schools in the area that only offer the diploma program, which sort of means if you want to do the International Baccalaureate Diploma, you're handed your schedule, you have just these classes, and that's a great place to start. That's how we started, but it's wonderful being in a place with a developed program where we have many opportunities for students to just take the IB courses that they're interested in, or to take a particular area where they have developed skills over time. So we started with a picture of our IB dance team, and here's more of our dance program. And there's an example where we have people in the community that may have been learning that skill their whole life, and so perhaps they really excel in dance and they take the IB dance class, even if that's the only IB pathway they choose, or maybe they pair that with English. Or perhaps they are that special kid who wants to take these advanced, rigorous college level courses in every single discipline. And in addition to that, they're looking at, I want to research a topic of interest and write a 4,000 word research paper and take a class where we focus on the nature of knowledge, and I want to engage in creativity, activity, and service. That's the kid who is earning the actual IB diploma. So you can see that's a small number of students, and yet it is open as an opportunity to every student, but each student is given, of course, the choice to think about, do you want to take 3 math classes instead of, or 3 science classes instead of working towards the diploma. So that said, we have half, actually, at my last count, it was 55% of our current students in 1 or more IB classes in the 11th and 12th grade. So it's pretty awesome to see that kind of access. When you look at our numbers of exams, it's a bit smaller. Not that we don't have a lot of students in those classes testing, but some might be opting to take an AP exam sitting in an IB class, and some are taking IB exams, depending on what they determine is best for their college plans. So I would also just like to actually, before I get to these statistics, point out that we are really hoping that now with the addition of our middle years program and actually having this full continuum, that more and more students will see this as an opportunity and think this is something I can do, because a lot of times we have students who are capable of taking these highly rigorous IB classes that maybe just never thought of it that way, or they were maybe just scared or turned off by the research and writing components that go across all IB classes. But now that they will be given that kind of instruction and access to the same approaches to teaching and learning coming all the way up from kindergarten, we hope that that will improve our access even further to our program. And just to take a few minutes just to brag about our wonderful students at Newbury Park High School, and of course the passionate IB teachers that help them to succeed. Over the past 5 years, 100% of our students who are IB diploma candidates have achieved the IB diploma, which is pretty awesome. And 24 points is considered passing. It's a sum of all of their scores. And we average at Newbury Park High School 35 points over many years. And then when you look at our course candidates, so these are the ones maybe they're just taking 1 or 2 or 3 IB classes. And so in that population of students, and we look at individual exams, overall as a whole school, 97.4% pass rate on IB exams, which is amazing. I think our teachers and students, they do amazing work to make that happen. A score of 4 is typically in the U.S. considered passing, and we average 5.5, and we have scored 0.79 points higher than the global average just this past year. And just to give you an idea where some of these students have gone, so these are the specific lists of colleges where I sent IB scores for the class of 2025. So you can see where those IB testers went, and you can see that some have been encouraged to travel abroad. We have some studying not just like a semester, like we have students who are attending 4 years in Spain. We have a lot of applicants to the UK. So you can see a wide range of universities, and certainly we also have a lot of students who are taking advantage of the opportunity to start in our amazing community college system and then transfer those credits over to a 4-year. And now I'm going to pass this on to our middle years program.
Good evening, everybody. We're the new kids on the block. We're the middle year program coordinators. I'm Karen Hochevar at Sequoia Middle School, and this is Jill Magnanti, of course, from Newbury Park High School. And we're here to tell you about the exciting work that we've been doing in the last 2-3 years. So if you can flip. Our staff has been doing so many trainings. We've been learning about unit planners. We've been learning about rigorous teaching. We've been learning about the 1 through 8 grading scale. We've developed a steering committee where we've developed academic type policies that align with the IB philosophy. So we've really merged the good teaching that we've been doing and morphed it into the IB way. Let's see, our campus is, well, our MYP program is, as mentioned before, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So we've been working as a partnership, developing all of these different strategies and ways of teaching together. Next slide, please. All right, is this you, Jill? Okay.
So, like my family, I'm the caboose on this train. And really, since I was appointed in March of 2025, we have taken a fast, deep dive into the MYP at Newbury Park High School. And what I'd like to do is highlight a couple of things that speak to some of these points here. In the fall, I had really thought about the UDL, SEL, and equitable practices, and really thinking back through the work that we've done with Mr. Liu, Office of Instruction, over the last 7 to 10 years. Really, all of those initiatives fit within the framework that IB really has developed for the middle years program and for all of their programs. And what I thought was so important about that is that it's something that is unified. And it's something that brings all of those disparate, sometimes seemingly fleeting focuses into one comprehensive, focused program. And our teachers have the opportunity to really see the long-term successes of investment in philosophies and practices like these. So the other thing that I would like to also point out is that as much as we are a 30-year program at Newbury Park High School, and I have not just been a teacher at Newbury Park High School, but having taught grades 6 through 12 in this district and having sent 2 sons through this district, I really believe in the education that IB offers. When I came to Newbury Park High School about 12 years ago, someone said to me, you're a really good IB teacher. And I said, what's that? And it's good teaching. And IB doesn't own good teaching, but what IB does is they allow us to really look at working together in our PLCs, the conversations, the growth that's happening with my colleagues, teachers that have been teaching for 25 years, coming to me with new ideas, new unit plans, asking me to explain something again. Those are exciting things for me as I'm kind of looking at this last phase of my own teaching career. Finally, the thing that I want to point out on this slide is that we've also have some reframing of what IB is at Newbury Park, because whereas so many family members and students often think that that's just for the honors kids or those classes are all really hard, that's not the case. There are certainly some classes that are extremely challenging, but they've also worked hard to develop classes that are accessible for all students. So if we can work to develop a program where the skills, the learning skills, and the learning attributes are developing students who are confident and owners of their own learning, that they have the opportunity to be able to access these higher level classes. And even if they choose not to do that, that they choose to be active in the CTE pathways, whatever they are, we are setting our students up for greater success than they had before. And so I'm excited to see where this growth is going to happen in the next 5 to 7 years. It's not going to happen tomorrow or overnight, but when we invest and are willing to look at what this does in the long term, that's where we're going to be really excited to see what happens for our kids.
And this has really been growing word of mouth. Everywhere I go, I'm hearing about this NYP program that we're developing and that families are coming and enrolling their students in Cypress, so they'll be a part of the continuum. We've done a lot of outreach, community outreach, family outreach, outreach to our students. Mrs. D is serving donuts to people so she can talk to them about the NYP program. We're going to schools, to elementary schools, telling them what to expect when they get to our school. So it's really been a great opportunity to meet the community and tell them how excited we are. We've, I know at Newbury Park, they've had Panther Prowler coverage. We've created some videos. It's just really exciting. We're really excited to talk about the program and how it's going to really benefit our students. Let's see, is this one you or me, Jill? Oh, I think this is me again. Okay. So we fully implemented at Sequoia this past semester. Some of us started last year sort of doing a dry run, but this year all of the teachers are implementing it. We've shifted our framework, how we're teaching the CVUSD curriculum, and we're doing it the IB way. So we asked our students, what did they think about it for the first semester? They got their first semester grades, and the feedback was fabulous. The students really liked it. They really liked the idea that they knew exactly where they were and how to improve their grade. The grades felt more fair to them, and they were more engaged. They liked the project, they liked the hands-on aspect. They liked just the shift that we made, the deeper diving into topics. So, we're off to the races. This is a great first semester for us, and we're really excited to see how this goes. I think we're ready for the next one. Oh, your feedback?
So this is where it's really exciting. We had the opportunity to have a consultant visit us in the first week of December, and the time that she spent meeting with teachers and parents, honestly, the best part was the meeting with the kids. And having the opportunity to sit in that meeting, they conducted a Socratic seminar. They just engaged in that kind of building off of one another and really helping each other to explain and to talk about what they liked. Given that Newbury Park and 9 and 10 are the two more recent grade levels to really be into this, I want to point out something that, a lot of schools could probably look at this and say, in 9th grade, we also are teaching of Mice and Men and talking about the Great Depression and other texts, and we talk about the Civil Rights era. And again, IB doesn't own good teaching, but one of the things that it does is those are the kinds of things that they are doing all the time in many classes. And the other thing about that is that maybe where kids are used to seeing that happen in an English classroom, classes like visual arts and theater, the classes that we have typically talked about as electives, IB does not consider any subject area to be superior to another. Learning is important in every classroom, and for every student to find value in the classes that are meaningful to them, that they find interest in, to know that their learning matters is a really important shift. And it's been awesome for me to listen to a health teacher talk to me about some new ideas, or a sports med teacher talking to me about using film clips to talk about ethics in sports medicine, and using a piece of text, visual text, but bringing that in and connecting across the curriculum. So those are the kinds of things that the kids are starting to recognize. And then I would highlight the bottom bullet point, that these are kids who really demonstrate the traits of being lifelong learners. And what more could we ask for our kids than that they graduate and head out into life loving learning? And I have the last slide for this. And as we look ahead, we hope to be authorized by the end of this year. Our consultant is publishing her final report tomorrow, so that will trigger our application process. And we had no areas in red. We had 12 or 13 areas that were in, quote, yellow, needing further evidence, and that means that we have growing to do, and they expect that to happen. And then there were 23 or 24 green, meaning we see complete evidence of this. And between the last Monday and today, I think we probably will have maybe a third to up to half of those yellow areas cleared with further documentation that we've put in. And my work with Karen, our role as middle years coordinators, is maybe a little bit different from the diploma program that you're used to. We really have a lot of interaction with our fellow staff members. We are really a key role in staff development and teacher support. And so the opportunity for me to maybe help make a difference and continuing to grow a program that will reach not just the students that walk through the door of my classroom, but that we are working to ensure that students who cross through any door of any classroom in any subject area will have an opportunity to understand that they are part of a program that values every single student in the school and believes in the growth and the abilities of those students.
Good evening. My name is Haley Brody. I am the IB coordinator at Cypress, so I get to share with you our exciting things happening there. Once again, thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here. We've heard so many facts and figures, which are really fun to hear. And the PYP is where these children begin. They come when they're 4 years old. So they are our youngest students, and they come to us with curiosity. And we use this natural curiosity when they arrive to develop them as learners that will go on, hopefully, to be in the DP program at the end. We teach through transdisciplinary themes and all inquiry-based, and I think you've heard about these in the past. These include 2 or more subject areas that are linked and connected through conceptual understandings. And of course, they all promote student agency, voice, and choice, and ownership. Next slide. Okay, of course, we always have goals, and last year, one of our goals was to develop our community connections. As you've already heard, community involvement is really important in the IB program. So we really zeroed in on this as a goal. And a few ways that we developed our community involvement was we have a collaboration with CLU, creative writing class. They come to our campus and they do a collaboration with our first grade classes. Also, we were more intentional in utilizing our parent volunteers and looked at their expertise and connected them to places in the curriculum that made sense, where they really got to share their expertise and their knowledge and skills. When we have a 5th grade parent who now for 2 years has come to the 2nd grade classrooms to share, they do some learning about how materials and innovation create solutions, and she's a designer, and so it really fits in really well in that curriculum spot. We also had the Mayor Mikey Taylor, come today to our kindergarten classrooms. They are learning about community helpers and different jobs, and so it's really been fun to see that development into our community. Speaking of deep dives and depth, the IB has a lot of depth to it, and last year we also did a deep dive into the program standards and practices. These are standards and practices are for all IB programs, so PYP, MYP, and DP, and it's how we frame our instruction and create our learning environments in our schools. One piece about just our culture in general is that we constantly move forward, and sometimes we don't take the time to reflect. And doing this deep dive really gave us, our teachers and our staff, the opportunity to reflect and to celebrate the ways that we have grown, and to be really intentional and focused in ways that next steps that we want to take to continue to develop. When we had our authorization visit, one of the recommendations that we received was to work on developing our collaboration with our specialist teachers and our general education teachers. So one way that we have been doing that is they meet every trimester. So the specialist teachers come together and they sit around the table, and each of the grade levels come through. So over that time, that day of meetings, the specialist teachers get to see the curriculum across the whole school. And the specialist teachers have a different perspective. They get to see, they teach sometime TK all the way through 5th grade. Some of our specialists teach 1st grade through 5th grade. So they have this different perspective than the general ed teachers. Of course, we expected to see the instruction change by having those specialist teachers supporting the general ed teachers. But a couple things that came out of it that were really beneficial were that those specialists were able to make connections across grades. So the librarian noticed a commonality with kinder and a connection to 4th grade. So now they do a learning experience where the 4th graders are exploring energy and innovation. Kindergarten reads Stone Soup, and together they use the Wonder Bag to cook soup with the power of the sun. The specialists also made some connections with each other, which was a great benefit to this work. And so they are working together more, collaborating more. And At the beginning of our school year, as you all are very aware, we're setting up our learning environments individually in our classrooms and across our whole school. And one way that our specialists are collaborating, the library, they read a book about a community mural, and the art teacher then does a creative piece in the art classroom where all the students create a piece of the mural and they all put it up together, and it's on the wall for the duration of the school year. Okay, next. Okay, the IB exhibition. This is a piece of our program that when you're in candidacy, it's not required, but once you're authorized, it is now a requirement. So we are authorized in 2023, and then we got to do it last year for the first time. It is a culmination project that the fifth graders participate in. What they do is they reflect on their learning for all of their elementary experience. So from TK or kinder, depending on when they arrived, all the way up till fifth grade, they look back and they think about all their learning. And they also learn and explore the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And with those two lenses, they choose a problem in the world that is important to them, that they are connected to. And they work, we're giving them a little more choice this time, but last year they all were in a group. So we'll see if anyone goes out on their own, but we're hoping that they learn those group collaborative skills early, because they're going to be using them for the rest of their lives. And they choose a research topic which includes an action piece. And this is designed to give our students agency, to communicate to them and empower them that they can change the world. They can do it in small ways, but it is possible that even though they're kids, they can still make a difference. As we've heard, the MIP and DP programs also have projects and essays where they are given agency and an opportunity to impact their community and become involved in their community. So we start here in the PYP, getting those skills to prepare them for later. April 1st is our showcase of our exhibition work. So some of you came last year, so thank you for coming, and you're welcome again. Anyone is welcome to come and see. And on that note, we can talk all night and all day about how wonderful this program is and how it's changing people's lives, but we would love you to come and see. So come to our schools, come to our classrooms, come chat with us, and you're always welcome. Any questions?
Be careful what you wish for.
Mr. Liu?
I guess just before we get to questions, I think that we are so proud of all of our schools, in CVUSD. But as we often say, in CVUSD, we have the right fit for every student and family. And for those folks maybe who are listening in, feel like that this might be the right fit for them, I feel like, as I always try to do, right now we're in open enrollment. And so if you don't live in the boundaries of these three incredible schools, certainly anyone can submit a school of choice application. The priority window ends February 2nd. And if you're looking to inter-district transfer, meaning that you're tuning in outside of our school district, we'd be happy to assist anyone with the inter-district transfer process.
I was so close to seeing that. First of all, you had me in we will be one of 6 school districts in the state of California. That is an incredible statistic to understand. And just seeing this process and the speed at which this has seemingly started, I know it didn't start with nothing, is really incredible. So I really thank all of you for coming and speaking. Questions and comments, Dr. McLaughlin.
Yeah, one of the comments was, just about the workload that comes with the teachers and the excitement that is put into their lessons. I will say that we do give the opportunity for teachers who are not interested in engaging in the IB program to transition out of that school and find a spot somewhere in the district that suits what they're looking for in the classroom versus what it is that we expect in the IB program. I can't speak to 30 years ago at Newbury Park, but I can speak to the others since I've been here for that. And I do know that there are teachers who might be excited up front and then get into it for a little bit and they're like, this isn't for me. And we do, as long as we have positions available within the district, make those moves so that someone can backfill those positions that would be excited fully for the implementation of this. So I think it does really help the ability for a school to move forward with such a big transition in implementing this when you really do have everybody in the right seat on the bus going in the right direction. So as long as we always have a position to move folks around, it allows us to bring some folks in as well.
And this is generated at the school site. This is not the district saying, you do this. This was all internally agreed upon and driven. So I think that's also an important point. I mean, this was what the sites wanted, so unbelievable. All right, any other questions? Mr. Gorbach.
Not a question, just a comment. You know, I took, when you had student comments up there, and the one student says, makes you want to work harder, and that was a middle school student, and I translated that in my mind, makes you want to learn more. And you all talked about the learning more than, I mean, traditional school when I taught was like, well, I want to get an A, Mr. Gorbach, you know, can you give me an A? This is about learning. And it's so exciting that we are the only district that emphasizes this emphasis on learning from pre-K to 12. And obviously that enthusiasm comes from you folks. And I just want to thank you. It's so exciting. Anytime you're doing a showcase, let me know. I would love to come see it.
Trustee Gill.
I am so deeply respectful and grateful to all of you for the work and the commitment that means for our students. I remember back a previous presentation that you all did, and Debbie talked about the fact that having the diploma program at Newbury Park High School meant that students who didn't care to be full IB or even take IB classes still benefited because the teaching corps was trained in all these philosophies. And so I think about the magnified impact of having the whole continuum and what that means as that impact is radiating out from the Newbury Park cluster throughout our district and California. It's so impressive and makes me just incredibly proud. Thank you, all of you, so very much.
Any other comments or questions? Trustee Powell.
I will comment. Thank you so much for this presentation, and thank you all for this immense amount of work and dedication and engagement to make this happen. I was reflecting during a presentation on when it was my first year as a trustee, and going to Cypress and seeing Michelle present at, I think it was Back to School Night, all about IB. And that was really, I knew a little bit about it, but that was really my first kind of deep dive into it. And I feel like every time I get a presentation like this, I learn more. I'm thinking back to like the dance performances at Newbury Park High School last year, where we saw like student projects and really getting to see in action that connection, right, between that specialist, that art, and the IB piece of it, and that project from the student. And so it's just so amazing to see the progress just in this last 3 years, seeing it in action. And I'll just sign off by, I think I got a little teary-eyed when you reiterated the common vision of IB, right, which is that developing internationally minded people who, recognizing their common humanity and shared guardianship of the planet, help create a better and more peaceful world. I mean, what more can we wish for in today's world, right? So, thank you.
I could just say ditto. I want to thank you for the work. I really want to thank you for the enthusiasm and the joy that you bring to your work, but also that you inspire in others. the fact that you were talking about starting with the natural curiosity and nurturing that and keeping it all the way through is so important, because school can not always be the most engaging place. But if you're following that and creating lifelong learners, there's nothing better. The two slides that stuck out to me were the ones with the student feedback. Mr. Gorbach alluded to one already, but one, lessons are more interesting. We're not just memorizing facts, but we're learning why things happen. That's building the connections, that's building actual knowledge that will stay with them, and I think that that's fantastic. And the other one that resonated with me was that the recognition, and Mrs. Magnanti spoke to it, that all classes, visual arts and theater, are core classes. They are not electives, they are core, because they are core to human beings. I thought, as we saw earlier tonight with the band program, right? Like, those are just as valuable, and some could argue more so, in some cases. But you wouldn't, because all classes are the same and equally valuable. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that it's not just an extra, that you recognize that its intrinsic value is really, really fantastic. Just thank you, keep it up. And 30 years, there should be a celebration, I would expect. You look like you're ready to party there, Mr. Lapierre.
Interesting, Trustee Goldberg, because I had the same reaction with the performing arts and the fact that no course is more important than another class. And we both sit on the strategic performing arts group, and that really emphasizes integrating art into education within all classes. So I think this is another way of looking at it. The other thing that resonated, Ms. Magnanti brought it up, was how this approach unifies UDL, social emotional learning, and our equitable policies, because these are things we talk about quite a bit. And this is way that these are obviously not disparate, but the ways that these topics, which we have talked about for a number of years, kind of come together. And I thought that was a very powerful point. I typically ask the question, what are your challenges? What are your barriers? But you know what? You guys seem to be like on nitro and going fast and furious. So I will not ask that question. If you have any, you can volunteer that. Hold on, Trustee Kearns is weighing in.
I just wanted to add on quickly about what Trustee Goldberg and Trustee Sylvester were talking about with not like weighing one class over the other, especially when it comes to the VPAs. I don't think that's something that's like typically considered like academic, but I think especially with like performing arts and like when you're getting to learning an instrument and all that sort of thing, it's extremely academic. And I have seen one too many of my peers have to choose like not to do the center, or not to do an AP class because they have band commitments, or to withdraw from band or another VPA completely because of academic commitments. So I'm very glad to see that's integrated into the requirements. And thank you all for the work that you're doing. I really appreciate it. I know I've heard many of my peers at Newbury Park speak extremely highly of this program. So thank you all for being a part of that.
Mr. Gorbach.
I just want to emphasize I guess a misperception that I had that you corrected tonight, and I'm thrilled about it, is that I thought IB, oh, that's for the real smart kids. And the fact that you said it's all access, and that just, to get those ideas, to get that philosophy of learning for all kids, I just think is so important and such a credit to you and to the kids. So thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you for coming here tonight and for sharing. Okay, we are now at item 5B, which is a discussion of Board Policy 5125.3, which is challenging student course grades and challenging student records. Mr. Liu, do you have any comments?
Yeah, in communication with our UACT partners, recently we're proposing it's one very specific change to the administrative regulation, actually, and that's to change the first sentence of the AR to reflect that the requests for course grade changes must be made within 30 school days, not as it's written now, which is 30 calendar days. Specifically because of how the language impacts grading and the implementation of the administrative regulation as grades are issued at the end of school years and accounts for the impacts of summer. The additional time proposed would provide additional time for teachers and staff to work more informally with students and parents to understand why those grades have been given, and as needed to point parents and guardians appropriately to the policy and the process outlined in the administrative regulation. As it reads right now, this opportunity for dialogue and building common understanding about given grades really expires when we look at summer, like in the middle of July. And so in practice, we sometimes do have parents and guardians or students who, are taking that summer break off too, and who bring up their concerns, when they come back in the fall. And additionally, we have school staff, of course, who work really, really, really hard, but who we would never expect to be working during that summertime that they have worked and deserve to have off. So ultimately, we're seeking to make this change as we get closer to summer, this summer, really just to allow, we feel like is the appropriate amount of time for students and staff to meaningfully engage about grades that have been issued, specifically at the end of the year and not during summer.
Thank you. And your first sentence was you worked on this in conjunction with UACT. So the teachers have had a role in this.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to speak with some of the leadership in UACT.
Perfect. Okay, any questions or comments? Trustee Goldberg.
So I noticed on page 4 of 6 at the bottom, you have 30 calendar days. It says where the hearing panel is convened by the board. Is that still calendar, or do you need to, should that be school? I don't.
The language that exists on page 4 is fine at calendar. It really is what we're doing is we're making the the receipt of the request, we're changing that from calendar to school days to account for, again,
Just wanted
summer.
it to be consistent if it needed to be. And
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Liu. We're moving on to item 5C, approval of new high school core literature title James by Percival Everett. Mr. Liu, comments?
It's just according to our policies, this is the second time we're bringing this title forward for information discussion. The title being proposed is for 11th grade, and that is James by Percival Everett. We did hold an informational webinar on the 8th last week at 5 o'clock. Unfortunately, we had no attendees. An additional webinar is scheduled for January 22nd. Reminders about the webinar and registration have been included in our Monday district-wide communication snapshot. The titles continue to remain available to preview at our high school main offices as well as the district educational center. Around noon today, the title is, quote, on the shelf at the Thousand Oaks branch of the Thousand Oaks Library, but it is checked out at the Newbury Park High School branch, Newbury Park branch. And we will be bringing forward this title for possible board approval at the upcoming February 4th Board of Education meeting.
I have to say, we discussed this at the last board meeting, and the very next day my daughter came home having purchased that book for her to read. So, wait, we just talked about this. Any questions or comments? Mr. Gorbach.
And I have to say a similar thing. I went to visit my sister in Florida, and she runs book groups. And I said, I'm reading this book that I'm supposed to read to review for, and she said, James, right? And she said her book group had just done it. So I think it's fantastic. Almost every page has a kind of what do you think discussion topic that could just inspire critical thinking. So I think it's a great book.
Other comments? Okay. Okay, thank you. We are now at 5D, which is board committee reports. Are there any reports from board members on committees that have met since our last meeting? Okay. All right, then we are next at 5E, which is comments from the Board of Education. We will start with Trustee Kearns.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. And I hope everyone had a good holiday season and a nice winter break. A lot of positive things in my board comments today, nothing negative, so let's get right into it. Hope everyone had a good first day of class. And congratulations to all of my fellow seniors who decided to apply for college on submitting all their college applications. If you are one of the unfortunate few who has some due tomorrow and haven't done them yet, keep going, ignore this message, and play it back on the 16th, on the morning of the 16th. But after tomorrow, it all should be said and done. Huge congratulations to my fellow center scholar, Lila Papavasiliou, for placing top 300 in the entire country in the Science Talent Search. It was a very rigorous application process, and I'm very, very proud of her. Her project was actually on gender bias influencing the perception of female political speakers, which is a very relevant topic now and in this community. And it was very fascinating to see her go through that process. So she definitely earned it, and we're all extremely proud of her. There is an SDAC meeting on 126 here at 4 p.m. in this very room. We're getting a presentation on artificial intelligence and going to have a discussion on that. Should be a great meeting. We're also doing more in-person subcommittee time. So if you want to see Mrs. Judd in action, show up. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great meeting. I have no doubt. But that's all for tonight.
Thank you. Trustee Powell.
Good evening. I'm happy to be here. Congratulations to the Newbury Park Girls Flag Football Team, TO High School Girls Volleyball, TO High School Band. Thank you to Dr. Wells for her report on Gate DAC, and thank you to all of those who gave public comment tonight. I hope everybody's had a great start to the new year. Already in the last week, we've had a CDAC meeting, a DAC meeting, and a Teacher of the Month celebration. And congratulations to Lisa Ryder at Westlake High School on that achievement. Next week on Tuesday evening here in the boardroom, there'll be a community meeting to explore the possibilities of developing school district property for the purposes of affordable housing or workforce housing. The property being discussed is 20 acres right here surrounding district headquarters. So I hope anybody who's interested in that topic will attend and give their input. And that's it from me. Thank you.
Trustee Gill.
Thank you. Happy January, and nothing else from me.
Trustee Goldberg.
I'm going to say also happy January. A lot has been covered, but I do want to give a shout out of gratitude to Warrior Joe on the Go for coming to the DAC meeting. It was fantastic to not just witness the amazing students and their joy at being able to serve coffee and bagels to people, but just to hear more about their real world application of their knowledge. These students, they do everything from inventory to planning to budgeting to being the baristas and delivering coffee to their fellow students once a week. It was just great to see, and I appreciated their taking time out of their day to show us what they're doing over there. So that's it.
Trustee Gorbach.
Good evening. Welcome back, everybody. It's wonderful. I hope everyone is back safely and healthily, with good health. And a message to students, it seems like this is a new beginning, but the end of the year seems to kind of go faster than the beginning of the year. And if you have long-term projects, don't wait until the night before they're due. Start now, because it'll surprise you how fast it goes. Congratulations again to all the people we honored: Newbury Park Flag Football, TO Volleyball, TO Band, Dr. Wells for speaking on behalf of GATE. And I wish everybody a great second half of the year. Thank you.
So after the Warrior Joe on the go-kart, which was really a wonderful thing to see, I do want to talk about the presentation that was given to DAC yesterday. Our inclusion TOSA is a teacher on special assignment, Sarah Cummings, came and actually gave a presentation to our DAC members, not our CDAC members, but our DAC members, on inclusion and how important this is to not just our students with disabilities, but to all students, to feel included, and as Mr. Liu pointed out during the meeting, to feel like they belonged within our school sites and within our classrooms. I've seen versions of this presentation at CDAC, which is our special education DAC, and I know Sarah Cummings came to student DAC, but I don't know whose idea it was, but it was a brilliant move to share this with our DAC reps. And these are very involved parents. They asked for a raise of hands of who in that room had heard of or knew of the strategic plan for inclusion, and only a small handful raised their hands. And again, this is a plan, this is a priority of our district, which positively impacts all of our students. So Ms. Cummings did an amazing job and talked about all of the efforts throughout CVUSD. We have unified sports, we have co-taught classes and co-taught sections, we have inclusive classrooms, we have inclusive schools week. Mr. Liu gave another shout out to Josh Carolyn, who is our UACT president, for helping to be collaborative along with this effort, because it takes all of us, really. So again, I thought sharing this information at the DAC meeting was really, really impactful. And I know that they had breakout groups about it, and I know all of those parents who were participated and heard will take all of this back to their school sites. So I want to thank whoever came up with that and all the people involved. So now I will turn it over to Dr. McLaughlin.
Just two brief topics tonight. One, I'm starting to see pictures of our new turfed football fields. They look very nice, and it seems as though they're moving at a very nice pace to get the fields and tracks done in a timely manner before the next season starts. I don't know where we sit with other sports currently taking place right now, and if they'll get an opportunity to finish out the season on those fields, but they do look very nice and making very good progress every week. And then at this point, I think I saw Westlake High School put out their notification that they have Huddle up in all their fields. So just to let people know, it is so nice to have access to Huddle when you're just sitting at home watching TV, and you can flip on and see actually what games our athletes are playing at night. It's frequent on my phone in the evenings, and I know Newbury Park High School girls flag football team caught the end of their season. They were able to have access to it, and they're a fun team to watch. And so when you can't get to all the stadiums or whatever, it's a good evening flipping through, and you can watch multiple games throughout the course of the night. So just know all three sites are now up and running with Huddle as well. The question is can you watch and review? Yes, they do have actual replays on there for games. I don't know if they're all. And then the other piece that I'm starting to notice on Huddle is student athletes can have access to their game film and start building their individual highlight films. So you're starting to see that as well.
That's a big deal. So that's fantastic. All right, we are now at item 6, which is adjournment.
The other thing I should share, it's not just athletes. Our bands at our schools also have access so that if there is a performance on the field, they have, Huddle can be up and running. So it's not just all about sports.
Even better.
Yeah. No, I'm just
Mr. Gorbach, do you have a comment on that?
No, I was going to answer a question that you're going to ask.
Okay, well, let me get to the question. All right, we are now at item 6, adjournment. We're going to go to item 6A, future board topics. Would board members like to add any topics for future board discussion? Mr. Gorbach.
When are we reviewing what restrictions we as a district have on what internet is available through our 101 computers? Like,
Are you talking about the technology
Yeah.
policy? Yeah, what is the time frame?
I think it's March. Is that right, Mr. Liu? It's scheduled?
Yes, March.
So the technology committee will work on updating and creating these policies, and then they will come to the board. You're thinking March?
Yeah, we had initially, I had initially said January, February, but we do want to give some additional time to the technology committee, especially given consideration that the two Board of Education members are now part of that committee. We will plan on having an additional opportunity for the committee to meet before. So again, that leads us into our March meetings.
And just really brief on that, and I know it's not a topic, so I'm not going to address it, but I do want to say we're not adversarial at all when parents come to share their concerns about technology from our side. It is information that we do need to hear. I think many of us have kids or had kids come through the district, so we're seeing that in real time with our own kids. And so it's not adversarial for us to want to push back on anything that they're saying. We know we have work to do. We know that COVID pushed us down this technology path, and I mean, it was nice to have, but now we've got to start looking at what that balance is. So just for the commenters, and I meant to say it is like, this is not adversarial for us. We want to make sure that we have a good process in place, that our teachers in the classroom feel comfortable, that they're not trying to do multiple types of teaching strategies in their room. So all that does take time. So yeah, I'll look forward to the March meeting when Technology Committee brings forward those board policies.
So does anyone have anything to add to, does anyone have anything to add to future board topics? We will see the technology policy, as you heard. All right. Seeing none, seeing no other agenda items, the meeting is adjourned at 8:39 p.m. Good night.